Top 5 simple and most essential Kusina stocks sa pagsisimula ng low carb and fasting lifestyle. Yun yung top 5 food items or food stuff na kailangan if you want to start low carb and fasting lifestyle the easy and also the sustainable way. Most important sa lahat ng ito is that hindi sila mahal. Hindi kayo kailangan gumastos ng mas mahal more than your usual na budget for food and other items. And eto ay pinakasimple lang din. Kung kayo ay nagsisimula pa lang, I'm sure medyo magugulat kayo na eto ay very basic. And for those naman na matagal na sa low carb and fasting lifestyle, I'm sure meron kayo nito sa inyong mga bahay. So the first thing na very simple and very essential, although merong mga konting mga population na might not be okay with this, but generally this is very, very safe. And the first one would be eggs. So itlog, the more organic, free range, much better. But if ever wala namang available, since hindi sila ganon kadaling makita, then any egg is generally just okay. Ano ba ang nasa eggs? Bakit importante sila? It's mostly composed of just proteins and fats. So proteins and fats are the basic macronutrients na marami sa atin yung kinukonsumo for low carb and fasting. Why? Because when we are loading up with good quality proteins, the natural kind of proteins, hindi yung mga processed proteins, then you can see na your body will actually utilize them better. Ibig sabihin, mas magagamit natin ito for building blocks, for our repair, for our skin, for our hair, and for our body functioning. Mas magagamit ito without much side effect at hindi rin kayo mag-lead into muscle loss or sobrang pagpayat na marami na pinoproblema na ngayon because they are very, very successful with weight loss, but they are doing it somewhat not the best way, a little like low-calorie diet. At kapag kayo ay naglo-low-calorie diet, compromising your need for proteins, then doon na nagkakaroon ng protein malnutrition. Signs would be very dry skin, yung weakness, yung magaan nga yung pakiramdam mo, pero weak ka. But if you are losing weight, and kahit pa sinasabi ng iba na you look like a little older than before you started low carb, pero if your energy level is high, the skin quality, your hair, and everything else sa katawan mo feels good, then most likely you are doing it just the right amount of perfection. However, if you think you need to improve more, then study more. Marami na tayong videos about it, or you can join our low carb and fasting masterclass for guidance. And the fat component naman ng ating eggs. The egg yolk, yun yung usual na kinakatakutan ng iba. And sinasabi nila na ito ay titigilan nila because they are afraid of cholesterol. There are two kinds of cholesterol, the bad and the good. Cholesterol is generally okay as long as they are natural at sila ay kinukonsumo natin in their best form. Egg yolk is a good kind of cholesterol. And when it comes to low carb and fasting lifestyle, hindi tayo dapat matakot sa taba. Why? Because those fats are going to be utilized. Ito ay magagamit as a source of energy. Matakot tayo dapat sa taba if we are consuming it together with glucose, together with sugar, together with too much carbohydrates. Dahil kapag kinukonsumo natin ang fats together with those carbohydrates, tataas yung insulin level natin sa katawan. At again, kapag mataas yung insulin level natin sa ating katawan, yung taba na kinakain natin ay hindi siya madaling ma-burn, hindi siya madaling magamit into energy. That's why when we do low carb and fasting, we can actually enjoy all the good fats, all the healthy cholesterol na natural sa ating katawan. Yes, that is natural. Even our body creates our own cholesterol because it is very essential for repair and even essential for creation of mga hormones and other na mga components ng ating pangangatawan for it to function optimally. If you have been avoiding cholesterol and fats but you are on high carb diet, those people are surprised na kahit hindi na sila kumakain ng mamantika, hindi na sila nag-enjoy ng egg yolk, still their cholesterol level is way up. The scariest part would be the component ng cholesterol na yon. If your cholesterol, total cholesterol is high, at yung pinakamataas dito is the VLDL, yung very low density lipoproteins, then that is the scary kind of cholesterol na kailangan talagang pababain. And now, the current standard of American Heart Association, they already removed the cap. Tinanggal na nila yung upper limit on cholesterol consumption because the most recent and most importantly, unbiased, hindi sponsored na mga results in research are now showing na wala talagang basihan ang relasyon, walang relationship ang cholesterol, dietary cholesterol intake, and presence of cardiovascular diseases like heart attacks and stroke. Sobrang daming percentage ng nag-heart attack and stroke that have normal cholesterol level, even low normal cholesterol level, and even low LDL, but still, they are succumbing to death or the morbidity dulot ng mga complications ng cardiovascular diseases because yun nga ang nalalaman natin ngayon, hindi talaga sila directly related to the level of cholesterol in the body. It has to be broken down into the component part, which is the VLDL, and partly the triglycerides, the other fats in our system na kapag nag-build up together with inflammation, pagtaas ng C-reactive protein, pagtaas ng ESR, and pagtaas ng insulin, where we can see na mataas yung HbA1c mo for the last 3 months or your fasting blood sugar na never naging normal, then those are the scary indications na dapat kayong matakot sa mga cholesterol. But if all of those are normal and you are consuming it with low carb nutrition, then eggs are very, very safe. So that's the first one, eggs. So before we move on to our next na essential food items when it comes to LCF, good morning sa lahat. We are everywhere in the world, kahit saan na lang. We have a listener and followers and even Mars. So John Eric watching from planet Mars. Hello, John. Sobra. Ano na talaga tayo? Lumagpas na tayo sa Earth. So moving forward, we will move now to our next food item. So I will put this up and show you. Ito na yung next natin. Okay. So related with the first na food item, which is egg, yung sinasabi ng iba. So ano na lang, paano yung kapag kain ng egg? Dapat ba hard-boiled lang? Actually, hindi. Pwede ninyong ma-enjoy yung eggs as omelette or sunny side up or poached. But if you will choose to have it fried, you cook it with coconut oil. So sobrang swerte tayo here in the Philippines na coconut oil is very, very cheap and affordable. Coconut oil, isa yan sa healthiest kind of natural oil sa mundo. They are very natural na kahit nga hindi mo gustuhin mamantika yung inyong kamay, but when you touch a mature coconut meat, yung mga puti na yan, you will easily feel the oil in it. And it's not the oil na magbabara sa inyong puso o sa inyong mga ugat. This oil is very, very good na it's even shown to increase the levels of HDL. So kung merong a very bad, the very low density lipoprotein, meron ding HDL, the high density lipoprotein. High density or low, ang mini-measure nito when it comes to density is the amount of protein to fat ratio. Lipoprotein, so lipids and protein. So it's actually a combination. So the heavier it is, mas mataas yung component ng proteins as compared to fat component. So high density lipoprotein, HDL, is a good kind of fat, a good kind of lipoprotein sa ating katawan because ito yung parang mag-harvest. Kung i-imagine mo, if yung protein ay magnet, tapos siya yung kukuha ng mga nagbabarang mga cholesterol sa katawan. If it's already carrying a lot of lipids, like the very low density lipoprotein, so maliit lang yung proteins niya at sobrang laki yung fat globule na kinikarry niya. So, given na hindi na siya makakakuha pa ng mga kung ano-anong remnant cholesterol na posibleng magbara sa ating ugat. Worst, pwede pa siyang mag-iwan if it's too heavy already. But if you have HDL, the high density lipoprotein, so big protein and maliit lang yung kanyang fat globule na component. So kapag dadaan siya sa ating bloodstream, it can even help evacuate yung mga na-imbak na mga cholesterol in our bloodstream, in our ugat, para ito ay kunin niya at isakay niya. And it will return it to our liver, to our circulation, at pwede na itong magamit into energy and other forms of essential needs sa ating pangangatawan. And this can only happen if you are lowering your insulin level in the body. So again, dapat when you consume these essentials, it is under low carb nutrition. So I hope we are clear with that. But before we move on to our next na item, I will show you another picture of coconut oil. Kasi yun yung picture kanina, yun yung uso sa atin. And you might see a lot of videos, especially coming from abroad, na eto yung mukha. So, puting coconut oil at kinukutsara nila. So marami sa mga Pinoy, my mom included noon, na nagpadala pa from my aunt. Hello, Tita Mama and Uncle Jerome from the US of this kind of coconut oil. With akala kasi niya it's different, but it's actually the same. Kaya nga lang sa labas, it's cold there, kaya natutulog yung mantika. And they usually get it through spoon. So, kinukutsara nila. But here in the Philippines, it's very humid. Yung oil natin dito ay hindi tulog unless it's from the supermarket, at hindi rin kayo dapat matakot sa natutulog na oil. Hindi dahil natutulog siya on the outside at tumitigas siya ay maninigas na rin siya sa ating ugat. It doesn't happen that way. Our body, meron tayong core body temperature. It's very warm at hindi yan matutulog ng ganyan. So don't ever be confused or be afraid. This is still the same coconut oil as the one we've shown a little while ago. So we will now move on to our third simple and most essential food item, and that would be meat. So any form of meat or proteins, the more natural, the better. So pwedeng pwedeng karne ng baboy, karne ng baka, karne ng kambing, lamb, or chicken. Pwede ring seafood, shrimp, crabs, fish. So any form of animal meat product is okay. Hindi tayo vegetarian or vegan. For those that are going to go vegetarian or vegan, that is your choice, and we are not saying it's totally wrong. You can even benefit from it, but personally, I don't believe going vegan and vegetarian for all your life is good. There are now rising concerns when it comes to veganism and vegetarianism na sinisimulan on newborn children, on newborn babies, and it's not helping them. The development of a newborn child is essential when it comes to the need of protein and good fat requirement. And after weaning from breast milk, kailangan kumain na ito ng totoong, real, nutritious, nutrient-dense food, and there's nothing more nutrient-dense than meat products. There are even now a lot who are doing pure carnivore. And when they do pure carnivore, nagulat sila na their need for vitamins and minerals is also less. Kasi for the longest time, we've been brainwashed na yung vitamins and minerals ay makukuha lang sa vegetables and fruits. And we need this certain amount of number. However, the RDA that was published a long time ago, together with the dietary guidelines, is actually not very natural kung ano talaga yung needs natin sa pang-araw-araw. Those who are doing full carnivore need even less or very minimal amount of vitamin C. If you are doing low carb, vitamin C, ascorbic acid is no longer that much of a need. mga formulation ngayon is in 500 milligrams or 1,000 milligrams. And our RDA is only 50 grams. And if you consume less carbohydrates, less sugar, then the less need for you to supplement with all of those vitamins. Although the improvement of vitamin C is also good. From time to time, I also take, but it's not for the RDA alone. It's more on prevention. It's more on immune boosting, like for formation of glutathione, natural glutathione, which is an antioxidant in our body. It's one of the most important component. Even the formation of our collagen, vitamin C is good. It's a good component. Essential pa rin siya, but we don't need it that much. What is more essential is our need for proteins and natural fats. There are different restrictions when it comes to meat, especially religious restrictions like Adventists don't eat crustaceans and pork, and yung iba naman Muslims also don't eat pork, Hindu don't eat beef. So maraming restrictions yan. If you just focus on restrictions, of course, marami yan. But if you will focus on what you can consume, what you can eat, then hindi na kayo mamroblema. If you will imagine your usual food intake of one whole plate with a side dish and rice and meat, kapag kinuha nyo yung rice, you will already feel like konting-konti na lang yung makakain ninyo. But if you will actually increase your protein component, like gawing 2 serving yung meat or even 3 servings of meat, or what I usually do, 2 servings of meat plus 2 or even 3 eggs, whatever is there, yun yung replacement ko for the rice. And kahit pa isipin na medyo mahal siya, but if you will only eat once or twice a day, then it's not expensive at all, most especially that you are going to prevent other illness from occurring. No need for medications, and also even the need for supplementations na sobrang mahal is also mawawala din. So that is why eating meat is very important. Hindi rin tayo kailangan matakot when it comes to meat, just like how we should not be afraid with the ones na mga fatty foods, as long as, again, we eat them the low carb way. Maybe in our next video, we will discuss the top 5 na first thing that you have to eliminate if you want to start the low carb and fasting lifestyle. But now we will start with first kung ano yung kailangan ninyong i-secure. So that would be meat. And for those, again, with concerns when it comes to their proteins, CKD, uric acid, creatinine levels, you are more than welcome to join our LCF Masterclass for all of those. So now we will move on to our 4th item, on our top 5 most simple and essential na mga needs when it comes to low carb lifestyle. And that would be, nasa na tayo? This one, salt. So, asin. Bakit importante yung asin? So, salt is very, very important. Ang mga side effects and mga rason kung bakit marami yung nadi-discourage to start low carb and fasting lifestyle, na pagsakit ng ulo, panghihina, pag hindi nahihirapan mag-concentrate, halos matutumba, nanginginig, all of those are mostly related to electrolyte imbalance. And it is understood, especially for those na before sila nag-low carb ay nag-avoid na sila ng salt. So actually, yung katawan nila medyo hyponatremic na. And the moment they start low carb and fasting, kapag bumaba na yung kanilang insulin level sa katawan, what we don't know is that our body also loses its tendency to hold on to those salt and water. At kapag wala nang yung glycogen, which serves as like parang sponge na nag-absorb ng water, nagre-retain ng water and salt sa ating katawan, so nawawala lang sila. It may sound a little scary, but actually hindi rin, because we actually don't need to carry so much unnecessary water sa ating katawan. Water is a fuel of inflammation if ever nasusobrahan ito. What we just need to do is to replenish it. So keep on making sure na enough yung salt intake niyo, as little as, ang pinaka-minimum sa lahat would be 1 teaspoon in a day. So for those na kahit pregnant, yes, this is all applicable dahil walang kalaban si low carb. My sister who was pregnant 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago kasi mag 1 year old na yung pamangkin ko, and now she's also pregnant with her second babies because she's having twins. They are still doing low carb, and my other sister-in-laws are also were also very successful in their pregnancy with my healthy pamangkins doing low carb. So no forced fasting, just eat low carb, and also no overfeeding. Don't ever make pregnancy as an excuse to overeat. Eat according to your appetite, according to your need, according to your nutrition. So yes, tama yan. Lagarchitorenaka. 1 teaspoon in a day is already okay. So, yung pag-uusapan natin dito are just the essentials. Those that are not here, like milk, cow's milk, goat's milk, na tinatanong ni Mitch, hindi siya essential. It is optional. So, for those naman nagtatanong iba, perfect weight, meron tayong BMI chart, but more than the weight, mas importante yung inyong functioning, yung inyong clinical na symptoms. If you are feeling great, if you are feeling healthy, hindi ka inhibited sa mga gusto mong gawin sa iyong buhay, you can enjoy the activities that you want, you can perform the task and your needed na mga kailangan responsibilities, then most likely without any pain, then most likely you are doing it right. So salt again is our top 4 simple and most essential Kusina stocks sa low carb and fasting lifestyle na dapat hindi natin katakutan. For those naman with problems with their kidneys, then you are more than welcome to join our masterclass. For those with concerns with their hypertension na naka-low carb na nag-fluctuate yung kanilang blood pressure, ang iba natatakot pa rin mag-salt, but there is actually a possibility na baka kayo nga ay kinulang sa salt and electrolytes, and then eventually kumulang na rin din yung inyong potassium sa katawan, which is now causing your fluctuation sa inyong blood pressure. For those with those conditions, it is important to work with your physician and to get laboratory results kasi baka kailangan nyo na ng supplementation to correct that. But if hindi pa yan, nagsisimula pa lang kayo, yes, this is the best time for you to make sure na enough yung inyong salt intake. So we will now move on to our top 5 simple and most essential Kusina stocks sa ating kitchen. And baka magulat kayo kung gaano siya ka-simple. And it's nothing more, less complicated than, nasa na yun? Yan, than water. So water is very, very important. Kailangan enough yung water intake natin. And how much is enough? Then it will depend on your physical activity and the environment that you are usually staying. If it's a very hot environment and you are very physically active, then 2 to 3 liters a day might be what you need. But as for me, na since if I'm not, kahit nagtatrabaho ako like in operation, since hindi naman yun magalaw, I'm not really sweating so much, usually nasa 1 to 1.5 liter lang ako in a day. So, very, very important yung water to replenish. Iba din yun ha, yung pagda-dry fasting natin where we encourage our body to create its own metabolic water. It's also good. I do that mostly 14 to 16 hours every day. And it is already somewhat natural for me. Pagising ko sa umaga, I don't have the appetite to drink or eat anything, even water. So, nagiging natural na siya. And usually, I have my first sip around 10 or 11 or even 12 noon in the 12 noon ng araw. So that when I drink my water, I make sure my body is well hydrated. One sign if you are well hydrated is in your lips if it's dry, and one more parang mas objective na measurement or gauge would be in your tongue. So, and if your tongue is very, very white, then that is sign of dehydration. If it's pink like this one, okay lang yan. To think yung inom kong water ngayon is, I think, less than half a glass. Because if it's white, like for example, if I will dry my tongue, magiging mas maputi siya. It's because of the papilla. Yung mga papillae in our tongue, kapag walang moisture, then it will appear white. So parang hindi siya nagwa-white kasi it's really moisturized. And to think it's just halos less than half a glass lang yung nainom ko at this hour. And it's because our hydration will depend on our need for hydration. And it's very important kasi yung mga side effects minsan na akala natin na kulang tayo sa pagkain, kulang tayo sa sugar, most likely we are just in need of water or salt. So that's why we have the water and salt fix. If you feel like parang gutom na naman kayo at gusto nyo naman kumain, try the water fix first. Inom muna ng tubig, give it 5 minutes. If ever hindi pa rin ito mawala, try the salt fix. Get a pinch of salt, put it in your mouth, and then drink water. Give it another 5 minutes and another one if you must, and you will see that it will work like magic. Merong isa nakikilala namin, hindi daw niya nagustuhan yung lasa ng water with salt kasi daw parang kang dagat. And for others, okay lang sa kanila yon. But I think we are the same. Hindi ko rin matolerate yung salt water na iinumin. That's why what I do and what I usually say is get a pinch of salt, put it in your mouth, and then drink it up. And or you can put it in a certain like empty capsules para isang capsule na lang na hindi mo na siya malalasahan if you don't like the taste of salt. So I do that also. Or what's my favorite is consuming salt when I am already eating. So I eat it together with my food. So that's the top 5 simple and most essential Kusina stocks na hindi talaga mahirap. No extra spending, no business in here. So all natural. Pwede mong mabili sa kahit saang wet market. Pwede nyo ring mahanap lang sa pantry niyo even if you are still not doing low carb. Next video natin, maybe tomorrow, we can discuss kung ano yung mga top 5 things naman na kailangan mo nating eliminate sa ating pantry if we want to start a healthier and happier lifestyle, which is the low carb and fasting lifestyle. And for those who wish to know more, you are more than welcome to join our masterclass, or for those na kayang pa nilang mag-DIY, join Life Without Rice for food inspirations. And for questions and inspirations, join the Facebook group Low Carb Feasting and Fasting Community for more. And we have an LCF Masterclass na ongoing for those with hypertension, diabetes, and kung ano-ano pa. Check the hashtag JGC Rojo food list to check kung nasa safe list ba yung inyong kinakain. And also announcing the National Low Carb Day on October 2, 2022, Sunday. It's going to be in Metro Manila. We are finalizing the venue. And for those who want to join, pwede kayong mag-message lang. But soon, the moment that open na yung registration site natin, don't worry. It's going to be very, very affordable for everyone because we want this to become the biggest National Low Carb Day. It's time to create some noise and be loud para malaman nila that we are existing, so that low carb will become a daily word, a daily part of the daily conversation in every Filipino household. Hindi na dapat magugulat yung mga tao kapag meron silang nakikilalang mga Pinoy na hindi na kumakain ng kanin. And when it comes to kanin or life without rice, remember the rice there, hindi lang yan basta yung kanin, but it's a representation of sugar, glucose, fructose, carbohydrates, and other insulin spiking foods. That is the root cause of many of our illness, modern day illness sa ating pamumuhay ngayon. So I hope you enjoy today's topic, the top 5 simple and most essential Kusina stocks sa pagsisimula ng low carb and fasting lifestyle. So maraming salamat. I'll see you in our next video. And remember to always stay low carb so that we all stay safe. Bye-bye!